So, welcome to day one. Welcome to module one. This module, we're going to be talking about the observer's awakening and what is quantum alignment. So, quantum alignment starts with the awareness that all reality and the way that we experience life begins at the level of identity. And so, if we are identifying as the version of ourselves that's going to be living the struggle, that's going to be in pain, that's going to have no energy, that's going to always be bogged down and beat up by life, that is powerless, that is whatever it is, will you get that because that's what you're asking for? So life is ultimately all just a response to the conscious or unconscious agreements that we place in life. So a couple really powerful principles to become aware of when you are quantum shifting or identity shifting is what's called the law of becoming. And the law of becoming basically says that we are in a constant state of becoming. We never actually arrive at that final point and become that version of ourselves somewhere far out in the future. And when we finally arrive there, then we will be the best version of ourselves. But that doesn't actually exist, because in the eternal now, the eternal present, in the quantum world, the future is an illusion, and so is the past. So ultimately, in the present moment is where real transformation happens. So from the law of becoming, you don't get what you want in life, you get what you are becoming. So when you can realize that you move through an awareness of being process-oriented as opposed to outcome-oriented, you then start to move in your life in a different way, because you know that things are in a constant state of flux. They're never staying the same, and neither are you. Things are always changing. And that leads us to our next law in the observer's awareness, or the observer's awakening, which is the law of assumption. When we can assume and be specific about our self-concept and our self-identity, the way we perceive ourselves and believe ourselves to be who we are, we then start to shape reality in a beautiful way. So, like, for example, the law of assumption implemented in my own life. If I am assuming myself to be a person who makes X amount of money, and then I'm going to actually show up and operate in life from that framework. So if I assume myself to be someone who works 9 to 5 at a minimum wage job, and that's just who I am because that's where I came from, or if I came from a middle class family that works super hard to get everything that they earn in life, then that is the reality I'm going to get. But if I assume myself to be aligned with my most authentic self, which is actually pure abundance, because nature does not know scarcity, like God and the universe, source and life, all synonymous, do not know scarcity. So when we actually align to our true selves, we align with that version of ourselves that is already achieving the things that we desire to achieve. And when we just take the next step, one in front of the next, and we walk towards our goal as if it's already happening, it just does. So that is kind of the initial frames of using those laws to our advantage, to the awareness that we don't have to actually will things into existence. It's not about creating the reality of your dreams. It's about becoming aware that all realities exist simultaneously on top of each other. So it's not about creating your ideal reality, because this reality is you are destined to your fate of this reality. So you cannot change the fate of this version of you. But what you can do is actually become aware of the thoughts and beliefs and emotions and inner dialogues that create this version of you, And through the law of becoming, since we are in a constant state of becoming, and the law of assumption, through the law of attraction, as we assume and we become the version of ourselves that has a different destiny on a different timeline, we then start to make real quantum shifts in our life. And so this is where the observer's awakening happens, when we can start to actually observe ourselves, when we can become aware that if we can observe our thoughts, we are not our thoughts. If we can observe our beliefs and our emotions, we are also not our emotions, as well as if we can observe our sensations, we are not our sensations. We are simply the observer. And so when this principle comes into play, you become the observer, the awareness behind the happening and the unfolding of life. And the deeper layer, and I'll get into this on the third module, is essentially turning the observer in on itself. Become the observer of the observer. To observe the observer is the deeper layer. And so I'll get a little bit into that later. I don't want to get too quantum on this stuff too quickly, but essentially asking yourself these quantum questions. And so below I have a little prompt on the quantum questions, which help kind of, and I'll leave these quantum questions throughout the course, but they help you kind of reframe what it is and really reevaluate your relationship to life, to yourself. And so one is, what do you want to have? Two is, what do you want to do? And three is, who do you want to be? And if any of these questions are causing friction, or they're causing you to feel tension or heaviness or anything like that, that's probably a good sign that it is not authentic. It's not in alignment with you. That is probably just an identity or a belief that someone told you you were supposed to align with. And that is exactly what emotions and expressions and sensations are. They're just barometers of our true self, our center. So I'll leave it at that for this first module, but I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Hey guys, David here. So thank you again for tuning into this video series. I really appreciate having you here today. If this information, this wisdom resonates with you, feel free to like, share, subscribe, pass this on to someone you feel like might resonate with this information. As well as I have a option for donations here in the description. And so if that's something you feel called to, the donations really just kind of help further my ability to share this online education and to increase the quality and capacity to continue to do this. So really grateful to have you here and look forward to continuing the journey together.